Shalom, this will be part two. I'm gonna get into this video. It's about 6 minutes, give or take. And then I'm gonna, get into some more information. Then we'll hear some scriptures and I'm gonna close it out. So kind of bear with me on this, but I want you to listen up to everything that he's saying because he's saying 100% truth.
European invader came here in the late 1490s. There were 112 million of us in this Republic of the United States. It's not a country, it's a republic. And in less than 500 years, through genocidal practices, through the introduction of diseases that we had no immunity to, and other evil things like he brought, arrogance, greed, our numbers went from 112 million to less than a million by 1930. How do you kill off 111 million great people, loving people, people that are willing to share whatever they have, regardless of how small it is or how much they have? How do you do that?
That's a genocide you don't hear in the history books.
Absolutely. And another form of genocide that they practiced on us was paper genocide. There was a Dr. Arthur Plecker in Virginia, a cold-blooded racist, through taking a baby, an Indian baby, and instead of putting Indian or tribal name on that birth certificate, he would put mulatto or other. So many people walking around, even today as we speak, 2017, don't know who they are. Because at birth, their identity was destroyed through Dr. Arthur Plecker, the father of eugenics, who became the director of vital statistics during this time for the state of Virginia.
Now, another thing that they teach in the history book was the whole Thanksgiving, the meeting. But we talked about that, and I wanted people to know the truth about that. It was actually, if you want to talk about how Thanksgiving came about.
I do want to talk about it. First of all, you got to remember, my dear brother, that history, his story, it's not our story. When they proclaimed Thanksgiving, it was in Mystic, Connecticut, a tribe of Indian people, the Pequots, that were thriving and surviving. But shortly after, we taught these white people how to farm and how to take care of the land and raise food. They got beside themselves. A few years after they started prospering, they decided that they were going to take their women and their children out to a big field and have a cookout celebration. No Indians brought deer. There was never a Thanksgiving dinner with them, according to what they say. Not true. The celebration of Thanksgiving was the men walked off from their families and went further north into Mystic, Connecticut, and they murdered these Pequot Indian children, elders, women, and men. Got them in the enclosure of their habitat. They had built forts, per se, but that was only for the protection of their people. And they trapped them in where they couldn't get out, and they set it on fire, and they burned them to death. they came back, they were so thankful that they had killed these Indians. But that was the first Thanksgiving, not what you read about in their books.
It wasn't until when President Lincoln decided, instead of having it every other day when they were going to different tribes killing them, that he decided to make it once a year, a day of Thanksgiving once a year.
True. But let me tell you about President Lincoln. Because Indians, the Dakota and Nakota Indians wouldn't give up. These are the people from Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, up in that area, would not give up. They were fighting, and they captured in excess of 200 of them. And they wanted to hang them all. But Lincoln intervened because of politics, should I say politics. He said, no, I don't want you to hang them all. Pick 38 of them. And that's how they came up with the Mankato 38. That was the largest mass hanging ever.
See that? That's why we be trying to tell you, man, you're dealing with the devil. All right? So let's get into this second part of this lesson. And I'm going to go to this term because they refer to our people as being Native American, which, like, you know, you get the term native, it comes from like a native, something that's already there, like a native plant, a native fruit that grows in that land. It was already there. So when they just put the term American on there, then I'm going to show you the origin of that name. And that's a cut on our people that's calling themselves African American. You named out the two so-called white men, Scipio Africanus and Amerigo Vespucci, these two Edomites. And that term America, and then you stupid Edomites, you refer to yourself as being Americans. You don't know what's going on, man. So let's get into this. Then I'm going to hit a few scripts. Check this out. I want you to listen up very carefully. It said America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, the Italian explorer who set forth the then revolutionary concept that the lands that Christopher Columbus sailed to in 1492 were part of a separate continent. So that's how you got the name America. Let's go here. Check this out. This is devil. So when you say you know how people refer to themselves as being African American or Native American, they don't know what's going on. It says Amerigo Vespucci was an Italian merchant explorer and navigator from the Republic of Florence, from whose name the term America is derived. You hear this? Let's read that again. From whose name the term America is derived. So that's how America got its name. And it's foolishness when you call yourself an American or African American, a white American, a Native American, so on and so forth. So we got that clarified. So let me hit some scriptures. And that's why you're not to celebrate this day. It's based on rape, robbery, murder, genocide, you name it. And it's the book of Jeremiah 10 and 2. It says, thus said Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen. So don't learn their traditions, their customs, their celebrations. This is traditions from the so-called white man, Thanksgiving Day. Why would you want to, celebrate something like that? And I know what our people are going to do. They're going to come up with rebuttals. Well, I don't celebrate it for that reason. You can't change the meaning of what things mean and try to repurpose them to what you want them to mean. It don't work like that. You still celebrate the spirit of this day. And you see our people are completely gone. They all into the spirit of this Thanksgiving Day. It says, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. It's going into something else. But this scripture is really talking about the so-called Christmas tree, the celebration of Christmas. There's nothing new. Let's go here. Matter of fact, do I want to Slovakia? Okay, I hit that one already, but let's hit it again. John 10 and 10. It says, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. That's the so-called white man. Did he not steal these lands? Did he not kill people? Did he not destroy people's heritage and stole their heritage and renamed them different people? Like, all these words they made up. It's like, yeah, 1 second. It says, I come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. So this truth is going to set you free from all this madness. And Messiah came with a doctrine to set his people free from the captivity of the so-called white man, starting at Christianity. And these celebrations, these traditions, that's why you should not to have the spirit of the world. The spirit of the world is place. Romans 12:2. And this is going to be the last one before I close it out. KJB. It said, and be not conformed to this world. So don't be conformed to the so-called white man world with its holidays and its traditions. And they go to show you these people are so removed from reality, but yet they'll call themselves God fearing, not knowing that we got holy days that we should celebrate, not holidays. It said, I'm going to read this again. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and the perfect will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Let's go to a different read on that. I really like this one at the very top to the left, New International Version. It says, do not conform to the pattern. No, Salaki, that's not the one. New Living Translation 1. It says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. Is that not clear? But let Yahweh transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. That's heavy. That's tremendously heavy, because our people live their life based on what they've been taught. All right, what they've been engineered to believe. Let me read this again. This is a heavy way that they worded this. 1 second. Okay. It says, do not copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. This is the ultimate mental game. The battle is in your mind. Your mind controls the body. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. So the will is to understand this doctrine so it can lead to your deliverance of you, an Israelite of the elect. And understanding that the Lord is going to destroy this place. And you have to really wrap your mind around that and get into the mysteries of this doctrine, the dark sayings, the parables, and really understand what they mean. It ain't just open your Bible up and you read a scripture and you think you know what it means, you close it up and you know what I'm saying, go into the folly of this world. No. All right. But look, you should not celebrate this day and keep it at that. And it's simple as that. And I know for you new brothers and sisters that this might be hard to do, but it's something you have to do. If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. Call Halal Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Shalom.